Hey everybody, Steve Fretzin here, and welcome back for another fun and hopefully exciting. I don't know, exciting, Phyllis? Am I setting us up for
Absolutely.
disaster?
I
No,
love
setting ourselves
excitement.
up for. We're both bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the morning here. You're in Florida, right?
At the moment, I'm actually in New Jersey. I
Oh,
have a
okay.
New Jersey house and a Florida house.
Wow, then it's got to be east side of Florida. That's where the Jersey, New York folks go?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And us
Yes,
Chicago folks, we float down to the West Coast, to the Gulf side, right? That's a deal we made.
sure.
I don't know why. Anyway, welcome everybody to the show. We are going to have some fun today. And this show, as you guys know, is Be That Lawyer. It's all about being the best lawyer you could be, yes, but also, looking at the business side, looking at the stuff you didn't learn at law school and trying to understand, hey, there's another whole side to this legal thing that I've got to figure out in order to develop control, independence, financial freedom in your life and your career as a lawyer. That's what this show, Be That Lawyer, is all about. So, as we love to do, we are going to start off with our quote of the show. Now, Phyllis, you sent me sort of a setup here, so I'm going to set up, and then the quote I think is yours. It's not like a quote you picked up, but it's your quote based off of this statement. So here we go. Babe Ruth is one of the greatest sports heroes. Was the home run king, broke the record for most home runs. At the same time, struck out more than any other player. He was the home run king and the strikeout king. So if you want to hit a home run, don't be afraid to swing the bat. Welcome to the show, and tell us why you love that quote so much.
Well, it's funny when I speak, I always end with that quote because people in sales and business development, you have to take a risk. You have to go to a networking event. You have to approach somebody who's a big, potential client.
Yeah.
And and I love the fact that Babe Ruth struck out more than anyone, but he hit more home runs than anybody.
Yeah,
So if you want to hit a home run, you really can't be afraid to swing that bat. You want to
yeah,
be a successful lawyer, you can't be afraid to network, to reach out to big referral partners, and just take risks.
yeah,
Swing the bat, and you'll hit a home run.
yeah. One of my clients just this morning posted about her autistic 18-year-old son, just turned 18, had a birthday party, and posted on LinkedIn and kind of, like talk about how everybody in the community came together to really support her son and have a great birthday party. And I thought, putting yourself out there, that is really something special when you can, go outside of comfort zones, right? To post something or to do something, go to a networking event where you're totally not comfortable and then get through the other side of it, right?
Absolutely. I do work with clients a lot on networking. Lawyers are not naturally taught in law school for sure
Yeah.
how to network, how to build relationships. And a big part of business development is building relationships,
Yeah.
referral partners, professional relationships. So I do work with clients a lot on being more comfortable walking into a networking room. And I
Yeah.
often suggest take a buddy, take somebody else and introduce them. And then they introduce you. This is the best lawyer I know. If you have any PI issues, that's who you call.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier when you bring a buddy.
Yeah.
So I often suggest that and go early. Don't walk into a room with hundreds of people. If you go early, there's only a few people in the room. You kind of greet people as they attend. So there are strategies to how to network, but it's a great thing to deal with business development.
Yeah. And just news for everybody listening right now or watching. You're probably going to walk away from this particular episode with a dozen ideas on how to be a better business developer networker because Phyllis and I are going to just jam pack this 30 minutes for you guys. So I would really recommend, I don't know about taking notes, but mental notes or maybe write something down or maybe listen to it back. One way or the other, we're going to do it. Let me just introduce so you guys get to know Phyllis. And by the way, superstar in the provisors community. Like there are people that get talked about, and then there's Phyllis. Like she's way up at the top of like people appreciating what she does in her business. So Phyllis Sisenwine is a master certified coach at the Lawyers Coach, and we met through what was it the Flag or was it the Boston? What was it?
I think it was probably the Philadelphia
The
Lawyer Affinity.
Philadelphia Lawyer Affinity. Yeah, yeah. What a
Even
great
though I'm
group.
not a lawyer, improvisers, there are certain lawyer groups where you can go as a non-lawyer. So
You don't have to tell me
I hang
twice.
out there. That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. We go where we're wanted. Uh,
Exactly. Exactly.
but give us a little background how you came to be, because you didn't probably plan that you're going to work with lawyers when you were
Not at
younger.
all. I
Yeah,
was in sales. I was in sales, sold office supplies very successfully. Staples bought the company. Everything changed. They wanted call reports and who are your prospects? And it was
yeah,
just, I said, I'm out of here. This is not going to work. And
yeah,
somebody said, Phyllis, 25 years ago, Steve, somebody said, Phyllis, you have to become a coach. Nobody knew what a business coach was, So I thought, okay, I'll go out and coach. People said, what sport do you coach? You
Yeah.
know, nobody knew what a business coach was.
Yeah.
So I thought I would coach salespeople. But my third client was a lawyer. I went to a networking event and a lawyer hired me. A week later, she gave me a referral of a lawyer in New York. And then another lawyer showed up, and I thought, you know what? Lawyers need sales and business development.
Yeah.
So I got the domain name, thelawyerscoach.com, and I started to speak at bar associations. And lawyers were hungry for business development. And especially the younger associates, they didn't have enough mentors. They wanted to become partner. So my business just took off very rapidly because lawyers really wanted, and they still do want business development, as you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I do know. I do know. And you found it a lot faster than I did. I think I did it like maybe 4 or 5 years of working with carpet cleaners and financial planners and accountants. And I got experience in 50 industries, which was great, but no lawyers. And then all of a sudden, I think it was 2008 with the recession. That's when the flood happened for me. And I was like, oh my God, I had no clue how little they knew about it and how much they needed. And so it was like, oh, like a Moses parting the seas in some ways.
Yeah.
So then what do you think are, I mean, so all right, we've covered this like ad nauseum that lawyers don't learn this stuff in law school. We get it, right? But why are they, why do they, I mean, other than that, why do they struggle so much on the BD front?
I think a lot of it is time management.
Mm-hmm.
We don't realize interruptions set us back 26 minutes. Three interruptions, you've lost over an hour a day. And lawyers, it's all about the billable hour. I mean, any successful business person, time is what we have.
Yeah.
Time is money. But especially with lawyers who keep track of their billable hours, they get interrupted. Got a minute? That minute takes 26. You want to have a cup of coffee? Or they interrupt themselves. I think I'll check my email. I think
Mm.
I'll do this. And when somebody stops by and says, got a minute? No, I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of something, or close your door. So a lot of it is time management
Yeah.
and also staying focused. You know, what do
Yeah.
you want to accomplish today? You get distracted. We all do. But
Yeah.
if you're really focused on what you want to accomplish, and that's where coaching with you and with me comes in. They have a plan, they have an agenda, and they're accountable, and they more likely will follow their plan when they're checking in with their coach.
Okay, so if time management and focus are kind of the cornerstones of what needs to happen to then allow the things we're going to talk about in a few minutes to happen, what's one or two tips that you work with your clients on to help either A, keep them focused or B, help them with time management?
Well, one, as I said, is minimize interruptions. They
Okay.
don't realize it. And years ago, I remember hearing about the Pomodoro method. I think it's like block out 2 hours and then take a break, 2 more hours, then take a break. So I try to have my clients block out time, close your door.
Mm,
A lot of people work remote, wherever you are, just block out the 2 hours or whatever. If you can do three, whatever you can do, and focus during that time, and then make your phone calls, check your emails. But otherwise, you're constantly starting and stopping and losing hours a day.
yeah.
So number one, I would say time
Time
blocking
blocking.
and
Yeah.
focusing. And have a priority list, what's really important to do today.
Mm,
Just to my clients, before you leave your office, have your plan for the next day. What are
yeah.
you going to accomplish? First things first, and really make sure you have a productive day because it's easy to get distracted.
Yeah.
So I'd say focus on what's really important. What are your priorities? And look at your time management and be organized.
Yeah.
People have a messy, messy desk. They walk in. I had a client, I remember saying to, what does your desk look like? He said, oh my God, you wouldn't believe it.
You don't want to
He
know.
yeah, he came in on a Sunday. He had it, and he even brought his assistant in on a Sunday. They cleared and filed and dumped a lot of stuff. He said
Hmm.
to me, once I walked in on Monday and I felt empowered.
Yeah.
That was the word he used.
Yeah.
His desk was clean and organized. So I often ask, do you have a lot of clutter? Because
Yeah.
that can be an energy drain. So if you're organized and efficient, look at your time management and just look at how you spend your day and focus. It's all about
Yeah.
focus.
There's two things too that I would add and from that, and one is the idea of eating the frog. And for those who don't know what that means, it's like what's the nastiest, hairiest thing or the most challenging thing that you need to do in a day, and knock it out early. So
Right.
if business development's important to you and you're finding that it's getting sidelined all day because of emergencies and fires from clients and things like that, do it first thing in the morning, right? Do it, get up at early, do it at 7 a.m. before your day can get hijacked and you end up in email jail or wherever you end up. That's one thing. The other thing is, to your point about focus, you've got to shut down things. You've got to shut down your email, shut down your phone, shut off social media, and really focus to get it done and not get that interruption to happen. So keep going though. You're on a tear.
And Eat That Frog. It's one of my favorite books because it is about doing the most disgusting task first. We
Yeah.
put things off. Either we don't have enough information or it's just, oh, I don't feel like doing that. And I've sent little frogs to my clients to put on their desk.
Nice.
And I gave a CLE for a law firm recently in Florida, and I found in a gift shop a bag of candy frogs. And I said every morning I physically had them eating a frog. It was really fun.
That's
It
so
was so
crazy.
fun.
That is
And
so
they gave me
creative.
little candy
Wow.
frogs. But if
Wow.
you
I
get
love
that
that. I love
into
that. And by the
and
way, everybody, I believe that's a Brian Tracy book, Eat That Frog. And then, but I think originally it came either from Mark Twain or something like Eat the Frog.
maybe.
But it's a great thing to, and for me, it's Pilates. I do not want to go. I do not want to be there. It's the hardest thing I'm going to do all day. And but when I walk out of that place, knowing that I did an hour, man, I feel great. I absolutely feel great. The other thing that I want to add is, getting things done. You guys have heard me talk about that,
Oh,
but when
that's a great book.
we talk
Excellent.
about clearing the clutter, when I did it, I mean, I'm just going to make up a number and say 19 years ago or 18 years
Sure.
ago. I, I can't say I physically felt it, but I felt the weight off my shoulders when
Yeah.
I cleared out my inbox, when I cleared out physical paper. I had two huge mega bags of paper to recycle. That was my office, and stacks of business cards, Phyllis, like seemingly to the ceiling,
Yes.
that had not been, put into some system. So I think that's a book that really will empower people to get organized because, to your point, without that organization, very challenging to do things that we're going to talk about next, which is, all right, now we're organized. We have our time managed. We're putting time into it. How do lawyers figure out where they should spend their time on BD or networking?
Well, I would say, who's your best referral source? Look at your client list. Who have you worked with in the past? And who's a great referral source? Professional partners. Very often, financial planners work well with lawyers. Other lawyers are great referral partners. CPAs. It depends on the type of law that you're in, but you really need to have a strategy and a plan.
Yeah.
And then that's who you reach out to and build relationships. It's all about know, liking, and trusting your buddies. And if you meet people and you like them and you want to do business together, build relationships. And it takes, as you know, in sales, 6 to 8 touches before you really have a relationship. You can't just send them an email or do a lunch. People have lunch. Oh, we hit it off great. Oh, we'll have to do, and they never hear from them again.
Yeah.
Or people say, let's get together, and you don't follow up. Following up is critical for business development. Meet people, let's get together, but nobody takes action. So you meet somebody for lunch, or you do a Zoom one-on-one meeting, and then you follow up and you keep in touch with them. It could be 5, 6, or 7 times until you really do business together, but you have to be persistent.
So what's included in, because that's the question that needs to be answered. Like we could, like I remember when I interviewed managing partners years before I did a podcast, and managing partners would, I say, what do you tell your associates? They go, you got to get out there. Well, you already said you've got to go after low hanging fruit. You've got to go after referral sources, and then it's touches. So I don't have business for someone, right? So what am I doing next? What are the touches that should
You don't
occur?
have business for them. You can say, how can I be helpful? That's my favorite sentence, by the way, with
Okay.
everybody that I work with. Ask people. You're not in sales. Nobody wants to be a salesperson, but you can say, how can I be helpful? And I often say, who's a good referral for you? And I introduce them to other people that they would like to meet. So
Hmm.
I'm not getting business out of it, but I'm being useful and helpful to them.
Yeah.
How can I be helpful? Who do you want to meet? I have a big network. I'm happy to introduce you to other people who could be good referral partners for them.
Yeah.
So if we're not doing business with everybody we meet, but if we're helpful, they will appreciate it and remember us.
The two things I want to add to that, because is exactly correct, is one um, is to make sure that you're figuring out, you know, that if you can help others as a way to build trust and a way to build likability, that's going to stand out from the rest of the networkers who say, finish a networking lunch with, this is great. I think this is a love fest. Let's keep our eyes open. And then it's gone and you never see him again. Right. So giving allows for demonstration of that, and it may be a next step because you're seeing that. But here's the other piece that's missing sometimes is I'm also teaching my clients and wanting them to qualify people, because you might find what you believe to be the best strategic partner in the world because they are doing nothing but working with your kind of clients. But they're not a good practitioner, or they don't have the organizational skills to follow up. Like there's problems with this person that could impact your ability to quid pro quo or to network effectively with them. Do you see that? And if so, how do you help people figure out not to go down that rabbit hole? Hey everybody, do you ever wonder why top executives and athletes are so successful? It's typically because they have a coach, someone that is looking at them from the outside to identify their gaps, identify their potential. That's what I do. I'm Steve Fretzin, and I'm here to help you be that lawyer. If you're interested in a free consultation, click the link below and we'll get together and we'll identify where you can make improvements to be that lawyer.
Well, there you just have to trust your gut and have common sense. I introduce people to people all the time. I can't guarantee it's going to be a great fit, and it's really up to them to go forward.
Yeah.
But I use my best judgment before I do make up a match. I'm a matchmaker. What can I
Yeah.
tell you?
Yeah.
But before I do introduce somebody to somebody else, I hope it's a good fit and that they are both ethical and in integrity, and that they're going to be a good fit together. But there are no guarantees. You just trust your intuition when you meet people, and if you think they're a good person to introduce to, I do take that risk and hope it works out.
Well, but you would, assuming, try to validate that you know enough that they're good at what they do, or to know enough
Absolutely.
that they're a good person, a good human being before. And by the
Absolutely.
way, I introduced my sister to a lactation consultant when she was having trouble breastfeeding, and why her brother knows that is a different story. Um, and it turned out this woman was like the lactation Nazi, and she made my sister cry because she was so horrible. Like, if you don't breastfeed your child, you're literally killing your baby. This is the
Yeah.
worst thing you can, like, my sister was like beside herself, and I didn't qualify this person before I introduced to my sister. So bad news is my sister got like the worst referral ever. Good news is I got a good story out of it. So sometimes you gotta take the good with the bad, right?
No, it is true. And I try to be careful before I introduce, but I did have one bad experience where I gave somebody a referral
Yeah.
and they really weren't a good fit.
Yeah.
And I didn't hire the person, so I didn't really know. I just took their reputation and
Yeah.
their own, commercial about how wonderful they were, and I believed it. But you
Yeah.
do have to kind of be careful for sure.
Yeah, 1 out of 1,000. I think we'll take that. We'll take that
Okay.
stat.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
okay. But I think what lawyers are not understanding fully is that networking is, work. It's right in the middle of the words. So we need to think about how we can be productive in networking. And going back to one of the first things you said, these are billable hours. And so if you're going to go out and network and you're going to invest, 100, 200 hours a year in this thing called networking, and you're not productive, you're not efficient, you're not finding that there's results from it, that's when I think you and I step in, either as coaches or as people that can give them ideas and process and systems and questions to ask, things that are going to help speed up the process.
The first thing I say is, where do you want to network? Where are your ideal clients? Where are professional partners? You can't just show up randomly and go to a networking event. You want to be strategic.
Hmm.
So, where are the better networking groups where your ideal clients are hanging out? And then always go early, wear a name tag. If they give you a little sticky name tag with, you can't even read the name, have a professional name tag, wear it on your right shoulder. When people shake your hands, that's where they look if they're a righty, and go early. Otherwise, it's overwhelming for anybody. The greatest networker in the world, if you walk into a couple hundred people in a room, you don't really know where to start. Also, never interrupt when two people are speaking because they could be doing business. You want three or four little groups you can walk in and introduce yourself. But I always say go early and follow up, follow up, follow up. After a meeting, be sure you really keep in touch with the people that you've met,
Yeah.
and look for ideal groups. And as I said, buddy networking, and hopefully you'll get to speak at a networking event. That's the key. If
Yeah.
you're just attending, you meet five people. When you speak, you meet everybody.
Yeah.
So I encourage my clients to do speaking engagements. It's
Yeah.
the best marketing strategy, I think. One of the
Let's
best.
let's let's come back to that in a moment. I want to stay for a moment on networking events.
Sure.
The tip that I do, and you and I both do this, I'm sure very well, which is we meet someone, we find out they want to meet CPAs. We know 3 CPAs in the room, and we walk them up to 1 or 2 CPAs, and we start being valuable right from the get-go, right? We're making a friend, we're making connections for people at the event. The other side of it is when you're new in an event and you know someone that's there, ask them like, hey, I'm new here. Do you know any lawyers here? Do you know any people that do this, that, and the other? And have them walk you up if they're comfortable to walk you up. And now you're not feeling like an individual walking blindly into this event. You're having some advocacy done. Any other
Sure.
tips for events that you'd share like that? If you're a rainmaker and you're feeling like you're on an island, you don't have anyone to share your ideas with, solve problems with, you're going to want to check out my Rainmaker Roundtables. Click the link below and learn more.
Well, just basically, as I said, go where the fish are. If you're going
Yeah.
fishing, there's a great book about how to be a rainmaker, and one of them is where should you fish?
Yeah.
And you can have the best line, you can have the best bait, you can have the best everything, but if there's no fish there, you're not going to catch fish.
Yeah.
So go where the fish are. Most important, go to a networking group where you want to meet professionals that you can have a good relationship with.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Don't waste your time if you think it's chambers might not be good for you. Bar associations might be great. Go where your fish are. Go where the fish are.
All right. I love it. So, all right, guys, we're already at like 8 like takeaways already. So here we go. We're going to hit 12. I know it. You mentioned speaking. One of the concerns and the challenges that lawyers have is, yes, they can speak to a group, and it could be at a networking event. It could be like in front of a bar association. It could be whatever. And then they speak and then they leave, and then they go somewhere else and they speak and then they leave. Now they're building their brand in doing that, but it doesn't always lead to business. And I think it's frustrating for them when it doesn't. So what are some tips to
Okay, I
getting
have
business from speaking?
a strategy from how to get business from speaking.
Yeah.
Before you show up at the event, get a couple of names of the attendees. I personally speak to 3 or 4 people that signed up for the event. What do you want to hear at this program? What's an important thing that you're dealing with right now? And they think that I'm customizing my speech for them. Even though I
Mhm.
have my speech, I will modify it.
Yeah.
So I walk into a room, 3 or 4 people. Phyllis, I'm the one you spoke to. I've already built a relationship with the audience before I even show up.
Yeah.
And then I always have them sign up for my newsletter, or if you're interested in a coaching session, please sign up for coaching. And follow up is critical. Like everybody in the room usually signs up for my newsletter, and several people want a coaching session or they want me to speak at their group.
Yeah.
So I'm also gathering more, referrals from that speaking engagement, and then follow up with everybody in the room and email them. Thank you for coming. If I can be helpful, please reach out.
Yeah.
So you're marketing before you even show up. And of course, during your speech, weave in a success story that they can
Mm.
relate to.
Yeah. Wow. You guys right there. I mean, there's 5 right there. We're already over 12. What I'm hearing you say, and what I think aligns with what I believe as well, is that it's a little bit like a story. Every good story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. In this case, there's some planning that goes into it. There's some execution when you're there presenting and how you're connecting, sharing a success story, maybe even finding some pain in the room of like things that they are challenged by that you can resolve in that meeting, in that speak. And then lastly is the follow-up. Like you leave an event, you've got a list of people that were there, you've got business cards, or there was a survey, you didn't follow up.
Absolutely. It happens. I had a client, he had a book. He sold his book. He never followed up with the people that bought his book.
Yeah.
They're a captive audience. I said, you didn't get the people that bought your book.
Yeah.
Like, I'm no longer coaching
He's
him.
like, well, they bought my book. That's enough, right? No.
But I mean, really, before you go, during and after. And I had clients, lawyers that have traveled around the country. They go, get off the plane, give a speech, and leave. No, you go early, you build a relationship with the audience, you
Yeah.
stay and hang out with them, get to know each other. You can't just show up and speak and leave. So
Yeah.
there's more to it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And then like let's say we're going for the lowest hanging fruit. And I believe that is in the clients who believe you are the bee's knees, that you are the best thing since sliced bread and they love you. I think having those relationships with clients, and then lawyers sort of expect or hope is the worst word, that they're going to get referrals or get referred to other GCs, other CEOs from those happy clients. The case or not the case? Sometimes the case.
You have to take action. You can't, you know what happened? One of my clients, I said, why don't you ask some of your best clients to give you referrals? Oh, they think I'm so busy. I asked him, he said, oh, you're too busy. People
Hmm.
think you're too busy
Yeah.
to get referrals. That surprised me, but it happens often.
Yeah.
Even to me, Phyllis, I think you're too busy to give you a referral. No, I have room for more clients, but no, they think you're so busy that they often won't even think about referring to you.
Yeah.
So you have to be open to it and say, I'd love to meet more people. Just you're one of my ideal clients. I'd love to meet more people just like you.
Yeah. And I think it's a bit of a
Yeah.
myth that
Mm.
they're thinking, not just the busy part, but also that we're taking something from the client, or we're asking for something we don't deserve or that we shouldn't ask for, that we're going like, hey, they're already giving us the work. Now I'm asking for more. Like, why? That does. And the misnomer is that we're doing that, but in reality, they're going to feel like a hero if they can refer you to other people that are going to have the same quality and relationship and
Absolutely.
trust that they have. And that feels good. Like when I give a good referral to someone, like a great landscaper or a great, which doesn't exist in my world, or a great handyman or whatever it might be. Like I know they're going to come back to me and say, "That was awesome, thank you. This guy was on time, fairly priced, like really good." So there's
You know,
there's
I
some
wrote
head
a book.
trash there.
Sure. Years ago, I wrote a book. I interviewed about 52 successful lawyers. What was their one tip of the, and their one of the tips was make the ask.
Mm,
Make the ask. A lot of people don't ask.
yeah,
Just recently, I had a car repair and I asked if they could give me a little better break because it wasn't as good as I expected. I figured I had nothing to lose, and sure enough, they knocked off $50. I
yeah,
asked. I even
yeah,
said, it doesn't hurt to ask. For any reason, and especially for business, always ask
yeah.
because why not?
It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. I just bought some very expensive progressive lens sunglasses, and the number I saw on the screen was blew my mind. Like I couldn't believe how
Sure.
much they were. And to your point, just said, "Hey, that's a lot. Like I don't want to have to go to Costco. Help me out here." They did, and it's still high,
Sure.
but at least you feel
It
like,
doesn't hurt to ask. Same thing
yeah,
with business development. Do you have anybody that you think I would be a good fit? Anybody you want to refer to me?
yeah.
And I think that's important to always be able to ask.
I
If you
think,
don't,
but I think it comes down to, and you just shared some language. I think it comes down sometimes to getting some comfortable language that allows it to happen in a natural way without it feeling salesy. Because we're going back to the very beginning of our chat today
absolutely.
about lawyers don't want to feel salesy. So you just shared some language. What are some additional ways to get
It's
that referral
basically,
without being salesy?
is there any way that I can be helpful?
Yeah.
I love working with you. You're a great client. I'd love to work with more clients just like you. If you have
Mm,
anyone you want to refer to me, love to have a conversation with them.
yeah.
And that's it. Is there anyone you know that I can be helpful to?
Yeah. Okay.
And now I have an ebook. I was a non-techie for a long time. I was afraid of the internet. Oh my God, I'm not doing any Zoom speeches, only in person. I have a lot of energy. I love to meet people in person. But then COVID hit and everything changed, and I had to become a techie. And now I have an ebook, which I send to people,
Yeah.
and I have over 3,000 followers, which is nothing like yours, but for me, it's a lot for LinkedIn, all because I embraced social media because I had no choice. So you kind of go with the flow and you do what needs to be done. So
Was that
I
kind
have,
of your fail forward moment though? Like the
yes, it was.
technology and the fear of
Absolutely.
technology and then getting through
100%.
it? Okay.
Absolutely. I was an in-person speaker for many, many years. I was even a member of the National Speakers Association. I did so much speaking and I loved it. And then COVID hit and it's like, I'm not a techie and I'm not going to do Zoom. I'm an in-person high energy speaker. And I don't, I shied away from the internet. I mean, I did emails and, I had a
Yeah,
website,
yeah.
but I wasn't going to do it. And then I thought, you know what? I've got to get with this program. And I started to do Zoom presentations for law firms and bar associations. I have an ebook. I have a QR code, which I didn't even know what one was. And I became a techie. And I have that, as I said, over 3,000 followers on LinkedIn. I post videos there. And now I'm the Zoom queen. What can I tell you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're going through like a whole range of topics from the importance of time management organization through networking best practices, client introductions, speaking. I mean, there's all this great stuff that's going on. And so each lawyer needs to individually think about who their people are, where those people are, how am I going to best approach those people, what's the low hanging fruit, and then take action, right? And have a plan that's going to do that for you. And I would say, I mean, let me ask you this question: out of 100 lawyers, how many have a tactical written plan?
Probably a low percentage. And even if they do have it, they don't follow it.
Yeah,
I'll never forget this. Years ago, I went to a law firm and they had spent thousands and thousands of dollars on a partners retreat, a whole weekend away. A lot of money and had all these speakers come in. And I went to the firm and I said, "Where's their marketing plan from that weekend?" It was in a binder on their bookshelf.
yeah,
That's where their marketing plan was in a binder. I said, "Take it down and let's look at it." step by step, we started to do some of the things that they learned.
Yeah.
They were away for an entire weekend, and it was all in a binder, but they didn't take action.
Yeah.
I spoke to a prospect, actually, a prospective client on Friday morning, and he said, I have a business plan, but I haven't really looked at it lately. And that's what coaching is. What do you want to accomplish? Let's do it together. I'll give you support. I'll give you accountability, and it happens.
Yeah.
A Lone Ranger doesn't make it work.
Yeah. And let's wrap up. We've got just 30 seconds left for, just why coaching is so important. And again, I'm a coach, you're a coach. We're both helping lawyers, and we both have a mindset of abundance. I mean, nobody can argue that I've had, as many lawyer coaches on this show as that I can. It's not about me. It's about you, the lawyer, finding the best fit and getting to where you want to be to live your best lawyer life. So the best part of coaching, in your opinion, self-serving, yes, but okay, also important for people to know.
I would say you have a strategy session. I strategize with you. We can all think to ourselves, but if you have a buddy to discuss it with, so we come up with a strategy and accountability.
Yeah,
If they think
accountability.
they're going to
Yeah,
call me next week or the week after, they're going to do it. Sometimes the morning of our session, they'll make the calls that they said they were going to make.
yeah,
Accountability is important for most people, and having a strategy.
yeah,
And you can't do it alone. You need a buddy, and that's what
yeah.
coaching is.
Takes a village. Takes a village. Back to my client who wrote the great post about her son. Shout out to people that are posting on LinkedIn and doing going to networking events and speaking for the first time to just get through it. Amazing. Let's take a moment to thank our wonderful sponsors. Of course, we've got the Law Her podcast. There's one you should be on if you haven't been on with Sonia Palmer. She's amazing. We've got PIMCon coming up. I'll be up on stage with some amazing professionals talking about the power of podcasting and how incredible it is to build a business and brand. And so check that out at pimcon.org. And of course, LegalVerse. There's a place to go if you're looking for international information. You want to network internationally with attorneys that are hungry to grow just like you. And Phyllis, people want to check you out. They're looking for a coach. They heard you. They go, wow, that sounds amazing. What are the best ways for them to reach you?
Well, my website is thelawyerscoach.com, and I'm on LinkedIn, Phyllis Sisenwine, PhyllisSisenwine. Love to hear from any of your listeners, and happy to give anybody a consultation for sure.
Yeah. One of the I think it was Janet Falk I had on, but she was telling me she's getting a lot of international, like people reaching out to her internationally saying, hey, they heard the show and they loved what she had to say about PR and marketing. And I'm like, okay, it's just like every day I hear more about how far this show's reaches. So I really do hope that you get some good movement from it, because you just took 30 minutes to share a tremendous amount of wisdom and knowledge with people that are really hungry for they're not out listening to the show for, maybe for their health, but really it's to really be that lawyer, right to the heart of it. And impress everybody, and most importantly, they take care of themselves and live the best lawyer life. So thank you, Phyllis. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us for 30 minutes. Keep checking out the show twice a week. Take care, be safe, be well, and we will talk again soon. Hey everybody, you ever wonder why top executives and athletes are so successful? It's typically because they have a coach, someone that is looking at them from the outside to identify their gaps, identify their potential. That's what I do. I'm Steve Fretzin, and I'm here to help you be that lawyer. If you're interested in a free consultation, click the link below and we'll get together and we'll identify where you can make improvements to be that lawyer. If you're a rainmaker and you're feeling like you're on an island, you don't have anyone to share your ideas with, solve problems with, you're going to want to check out my Rainmaker Roundtables. Click the link below and learn more. Are you ever curious what's really holding you back in business development? Sometimes it's hard to see the label from the inside of the bottle. I'm Steve Fretzin, and I can help you grow your book of business. Get a 30-minute free consultation with me. We'll identify gaps, identify your potential, and let's take it to the next level so you can be that lawyer. Click the link below for a free consultation.